Bitcoin is at a critical level right now. Is it going to go higher or is it going to go lower? That's the question that you guys want to know, and we're going to dive into this right now. All right, so we saw Bitcoin have a really nice movement off the cloud, off of the 100 EMA right here. It acted as a really nice level of support. Now, people are going to ask me, Coach, are you wrong? Are you right? I would say in the temporary that I'm not really too sure, and I'll tell you why. Because we're conflicting things in my strategy. So you have to be true to your strategy, and sometimes you'll miss opportunities, but there's always a new opportunity every day. But when you start seeing signs of things that could turn bearish, if you're holding Bitcoin like I am from 17K and 20K, you're probably not too concerned about a short-term price action if you know the bull market's about to start, you know that the halving is about to come. But what you need to look at is what are the conflicting signals that I'm getting and why should I be paying attention to that? So when you see things that are conflicting, like a bearish TK cross, which is impending, like the Chiku span being bearish, like that if we did break back into the cloud in the next week, let's say, I would be quite concerned if we have those two factors and we break back into the cloud. I would say, okay, maybe I and you should be thinking about what is the next step. So in some of the trades that we make, the best trade in some situations is no trade at all. Holding a pattern is much better, waiting for confirmation of what actually is coming next. What's happening right now is we're in an indecision point. And when you don't have clear confirmation, instead of trying to make a trade that's not really there, you would wait. So if I'm holding Bitcoin, right, from much lower, and I know that it's gonna go higher, likely you're gonna just hold that Bitcoin if you haven't sold any before, and just wait. Now, I know I've shown you these levels. You have that 40K level, and that 38K level, and that 35K level. Those are all very possible to go back into. And because of that, I'm thinking, you know what? Let's wait and see. The best trade here is to do no trade at all. And it's not just with Bitcoin. I'll show you some other examples right now. So let's look at Ethereum. Also having an impending bearish TK cross, also kind of stuck into the candles, so it's not a decision of bullish or bearish, neutral. And you know, we could easily wait like till the 10th of February in Chinese New Year or before the 10th of February, and we could break into the cloud, have that TK cross, and we could be in a bearish scenario. Because of that, I would wait for confirmation, which would be us to break above 2400 and stay above 2400, and then see that Tenkan start to hook back up and have that flattening out of the Kijun Sen. Because it flattens out and it hooks back up, we're starting like, okay, the momentum is gonna come back in Ethereum, and we can see that, okay, maybe the bulls are starting to take control. Right now, it's kind of at an indecision point, just like Bitcoin. Looking at other coins, we see BNB. So another one, now BNB is quite far away in terms of the Tenkan and the Kijun. So that's good because Tenkan's way above the Kijun Sen, but our Chiku span's kind of bearish right now, so we're not really sure. And what I would be looking for on BNB would be either to buy these levels that I've pointed out in the past, or to wait for the breakout of this downtrend, right? You can see this clear, trend line, which is on a diagonal, and we can see that we're trying to break out of that. Now, if we break out of that, that could be very bullish, but it also could fake out breakout. And I've shown you guys examples of that with Bitcoin in the past, specifically in the downtrend that we had last cycle, especially on the first one from April. We did have a fake out breakout and then we broke back down. That could happen with these. So again, waiting for confirmation. Sometimes when you have bullish and bearish scenarios, you're better off doing nothing until all the signs are bullish or all the signs are bearish. This is how you don't get wicked out of trades, and basically you don't go into stuff just trying to front run thinking you might be right. Solana, another one. Well, we did have a breakout. The same thing I just showed you with BNB. Solana is clearly broke out of this level. Now we have very, very close potential impending TK cross. We have a Chiku span also stuck within the candles. So until I saw really clear push higher, I would be waiting on Solana. Now, if you've held Solana from a long time ago and you've taken some profit at $118 and it's here, there's nothing that you're really gonna have to lose. If it goes higher, great. And if it breaks out, even better. But it's much better to wait for confirmation. So you can see this over and over again. INJ, another one, stuck within the candlesticks. We do have a nice gap between, our Tenkins are much higher than our Kijun Sen. We had a Kijun bounce opportunity right here as that trade that I talked about last time. And what I would be waiting for with INJ, just to be sure, would be a breakout of the $43 level. If we broke above that and got a boner candle, we would be good to look at INJ as our next buying opportunity. Right now, again, probably no trade's best trade because we have bearish and bullish signals at the exact same time. One that's on the opposite, I talked about this for a while, SUI, we had a perfect Kijun bounce trade. So I talked about this on the last one, and I'll just reiterate what that is. We go way above the Kijun's in the red level here. When we get really above it, it's like too many buyers, not enough sellers. And then eventually the sellers come in and they bring it back to equilibrium. So that's where that level is, where the buyers and sellers meet up again. And since that opportunity, that trade was a perfect trade setup, you're up about 60%. Great trade. Another thing that I'm watching for is pretty much, other than the wick that happened on the open, it's pretty much in price discovery at this point. And where it goes next is what we would be looking for. And you know, you've heard me talk about this, so I'll just give you guys some fib levels as to where we would buy. So we're gonna go from the swing high to the swing low to swing high and back to the swing low. This gives us kind of zones that we'd wanna buy, where we'd be looking to sell, right? Remember, everyone keeps asking me, Coach, where do I sell? How do I know when to sell? Well, you look for levels and you pick sell orders. You don't sell your whole bag if you're someone who's smart, unless you're doing a quick leverage trade. You're generally not gonna do those these time of year. You're looking for where does the price go to. Now remember, SUI does have vesting, and these are things you have to also take in consideration, which is also why it's pivotal that you take profit. So where am I looking at? Well, if we break up, we keep going, breaking higher, I would look for a retest around this level, around $1.50, and then I would be looking to aim for the 1618, which is about $2.04. The next level above that is $2.66 at the 2618. Those are two zones that generally like to go when they're in price discovery. So we would be looking to take profit in those zones if you're in a SUI trade. And all it is, and all you have to do, because you always ask me, hey Coach, where do I take profit? You see those levels, you put on a limit order when you're in the trade, and you say, I'm gonna take 10% or 20% of my bag, and I'm gonna sell at this level. When it goes to this level, I'm taking another 20 or 30%. And you just sell, right? And if you're long-term SUI and you know that June or so is right around the time you're gonna have vesting, so tokens are gonna come into the market and people are gonna be massively in profit, then you might wanna think, okay, by June, no matter where the price is, if I'm up a lot, I wanna take a little bit more profit just in case, because it will be the bull market and it could definitely go higher for a while before that vesting starts to affect the price, because it's going up. People won't sell as much. They'll be more bullish and they'll FOMO. So those are things to all think about with all these types of trades. Where do you take profit? Everyone asks me, what should you be doing? You should be planning everything out. So this is how you do it. You go, okay, at 204, Coach is gonna remove 20% of his bag. At 266, I'm gonna remove another 20% of it. Now I'm gonna hold 60%, right? And that 60% is just gonna sit there for a little while. And if we keep going higher, maybe at the 3618 at $3.30, I would take another 20%. And if I start seeing that, oh, we're starting to get bearish signs again, like we've seen right now on Bitcoin and ETH, I might reduce that even more, looking to buy when that dip happens, because it generally would. So if you guys are not doing this clear lesson of planning the entire trade, where are you stopping out if you go lower? Where are you taking profit as you go higher? Start doing that now. Take action. Don't sit there and wait for the market to do those things and you just look at it going, I think it'll go higher, because it doesn't matter if it goes higher. You're not selling your entire bag. You're still the upside, but you don't have the downside if you don't sell anything. This is what you do. You go on TradingView, you look for those levels, whether it be a buy level, whether it be a sell level, and you go and you put that limit order in. So if you're trying to buy something lower, you put a limit order in at the lower prices. If you're trying to sell and take profit, then what you would do is look for those levels above and take some profit and take some profit and take some profit. It's that simple, but if you don't plan it, you will fail. You will fail because you won't do it. The emotion will take over and you'll get greedy or you'll be fearful. You're much better off having those orders hit while you're not even looking at your chart, where you're out with your friends on a boat, where you're going and partying, whatever you want to do. It's much better to have that plan, because then you don't need to take action already planned into how you're trading. Doing this will literally make you way more money this cycle, because everyone doesn't take profit, and many of you have commented that watch these videos saying, I don't know where to take profit. The answer is this: if you are in profit, there is literally no time that is a bad time to take profit. Remember that lesson, because taking profit regularly gets you into a habit of taking profit Do it all the time. Sometimes if you see the market's crushing higher and you're like, man, it could go higher, take a little bit. You don't have to take all your bag, but take like 5% and go, okay, it's going up really crazy. I'm gonna take 5%. Don't let your greed take over, because if it's up 50x and you're going, oh, I'm trying to get to 100x, your chances of it actually going to 100x is much lower. So you might as well take profit at 50x, take profit at 65x, take profit at 70x, and do a little bit each time, because now you'll have that side bag if it does drop down and you want to rebuy it, or even better, so that you can take the money you've taken as profit, which is free money from the market that you've made, and invest it into something else, whether it be a private sale or another major crypto cap that you think has a large potential, and it takes risk away from that specific trade. So that's how you risk in and you risk out of trades, and that's how you plan. And if you do this, you will make more money this cycle than you ever thought you could.